Indian captain Virat Kohli has dropped a bombshell just ahead of the T20 World Cup. Kohli took to Twitter to announce that he will be stepping down as the captain of the T20 side after the World Cup next month. Kohli cited workload and the fact that workload was increasing as being the principal reason behind his decision, stating that he needs space to be fully ready to lead the Indian side in the longer formats. Kohli, though, will continue to lead the Indian team in the one-day form of the game and also Test cricket.
Virat Kohli has dropped a bombshell. Virat has decided to step down as India's T20 captain, and the T20 World Cup will be his last assignment as skipper in the shortest format. However, he insists that he will continue to lead India in ODIs and Test cricket. There were already reports floating around about the possible change at the helm after T20 World Cup. But Virat himself chose to end the speculation with the announcement. As captain, Virat's record isn't too bad. He has led India in 45 T20 internationals and has won 27 of them, with India losing just 14 of those. It's the failure to win a major ICC trophy during his tenure that may have prompted the decision. Whether the decision was Virat's own, or was it a preemptive move by Virat, who may have been given a nudge by the higher-ups. Virat broke the news with a social media post in which he said that playing all three formats for the last 8 to 9 years and leading the team for 5 to 6 years has taken a toll on him, and he needed to give himself some space. Virat has been one of the longest serving captains in the Indian Premier League too. But even there, he has not been able to lift the trophy in so many attempts. He has led Royal Challengers Bangalore in 132 games, winning 60 and losing 65, which means his team has lost majority of the matches under his leadership. How well it goes within the Indian team setup remains to be seen, because the announcement came before the T20 World Cup and not after it. Rohit Sharma, who will most likely be the successor of Virat, will be the vice-captain of the team in the T20 World Cup. As a captain, Rohit has had a phenomenal record in T20 internationals. From the 19 matches that he has led India in, he has won 15 of them, which also includes Asia Cup title in 2018. In the IPL, Rohit is already the most successful captain, winning the title 5 times. He has led Mumbai Indians in 123 games and has won 72 matches. After the T20 World Cup, India's next big assignment will be the 50-over World Cup in 2023. And Virat has made it clear that he will continue to be there as captain in ODI and Tests. Virat has taken the big call, but the fact is, does anyone like to give up captaincy? Sports Bureau, India Today.
Virat Kohli has very clearly been edged out of the T20 captaincy. In some senses, this is the end of an era, because you had the Dhoni era, after which Virat Kohli was undisputed captain across all formats. From now on, responsibility will be more evenly distributed. How does that impact Kohli's place in this team, since he was the undisputed king so far? And what does this augur for the future of Indian cricket? Joining me on this broadcast, I want to welcome first India Today's cricket expert, legend, commentator Sunil Gavaskar. Welcome, sir. Great to have you with us. Also on this broadcast is Nikhil Chopra, Deepdas Gupta, Pradeep Magazine. But I first want to go across to Sunil Gavaskar. Yeah. Rohit Sharma has led the Indian Premier League Mumbai cap team to 5 wins as captain: 2013, 2015, 17, 19 and 20. Kohli hasn't been able to lead his Bengaluru team to victory even once. What do you make of this big change in Indian cricket? How do you see this impact this Indian team as it shapes up in the post T20 World Cup era? Mr. Gavaskar.
Well, I think one of the best things that has happened is the number of T20 matches that the Indian players get to play because of the IPL. So they play a lot of T20 matches. So that's a lot of practice. That's a lot of experience that they gain play. The IPL is very, very competitive. You have the world's best players coming in and playing, the world's best bowlers, world's best batsmen. So both our bowlers and batsmen get their exposure, their experience, and they know what they need to do to get better. So I think that's one of the best things that has happened. And with that in view, I don't think the captaincy in a 20 overs makes that much of difference, to be honest, because it's just too fast a game. It's just too fast a game. And at best, where the captaincy matters is the kind of batting changes that you make in terms of promoting somebody up the order or pushing somebody down the order, in the kind of decisions you take that who should be bowling your 18th, 19th, and 20th over, whether you're bowling first or whether you're defending a total. That is where your captaincy comes in. So you're really, the captaincy is seen in these aspects. And what we have seen so far with Rohit Sharma is that he's got that right more often than not, and that's why Mumbai Indians has won 5 trophies under his captaincy.
So can I ask you a question which is slightly awkward but still very important, which is this: what is it about Rohit Sharma that you think he's able to get right, apart from what you mentioned, which helps him take the Mumbai Indian team to 5 victories, which Kohli isn't able to do? And it's a fact that T20 is a really fast-paced game and there's very little that a captain can do, but he also has 5 victories and Kohli has none. So is it just bad luck, coincidence, circumstance beyond a captain's control? Or do you think that there is something special about Rohit Sharma as captain which helps him elevate his team to a higher plane, which for whatever reason Kohli hasn't been able to do either in Bengaluru or for the India T20 team?
Well, 5 trophies when you win, you can never say it is luck. 5 trophies, out of which 2 are back-to-back, means that the man has got something special. Yes, your team has got to be good. Your coach has to be on the same page as you, and that is just a big plus. But at the end of the day, how you get your team to perform is what the captain is about. And while the saying is that the captain is only as good as his team is true, also how the captain makes that team play is important. And under Rohit Sharma, the Mumbai Indians have played some outstanding cricket. Don't forget that most of the times they have come from behind to win. Now that takes some doing. It's not that they've been winning their first 8-10 matches and so they can go into the knockouts in a comfortable state. No. For a champion team, they've been slow starters, and that is where the captain comes in, because that is where he's got to keep the spirit of the team up, not to get a defeatist attitude because they might have lost a few last ball matches or they might have lost the super over. That is where captaincy comes in, and that is where Rohit Sharma has shown that he is a top class captain.
So another slightly tricky question, but you can always play it with a straight bat. Given
Don't worry about it.
Everything that is said about the kind of relationship Kohli and Rohit Sharma have, and given the fact that since the Dhoni era ended, Kohli has been the undisputed king of Indian cricket, now in this T20 World Cup, you'll have Dhoni as mentor, you'll have Kohli as captain, but with an expiry date for his T20 captaincy. Everyone knows that after the T20 captaincy, Rohit Sharma is likely to take over, and in politics, in life and in cricket, everyone salutes the rising sun. How does that, in your view, sir, impact the potential dynamic in the dressing room during this big tournament?
I don't think it should be too much of an issue because there's something greater at stake, and which is trying to win the trophy. And a lot is made about this, captain and former captain being in the same change room. But take it from me, the former captain is only keen to do well because now he's vulnerable as a player himself. If he's been taken out as the captain from the team, then his place as an individual player is in jeopardy. So he will not do anything stupid. He will not do anything silly, and that will affect the team. So I don't think that dynamic is going to change. Having Dhoni in your corner is a super thing, for the simple reason you need sometimes an outside perspective, not the perspective of the red hot tension of the play that is going on, because this is such a quick format that sometimes captains can get frazzled as to what to do, who to bring on, where should I keep the boundary fielder, whether the fielder should be 10 yards here, 10 yards here. That is where somebody sitting in the cool of the dugout, but who's also observing the match sharply like he does, like Dhoni does, his little inputs will be fantastic. He doesn't have to come on the field. He can tell that fielder on the boundary, do this, ask the captain to do this, and that should be good enough. So I think the dynamic is actually going to be fantastic for India, because Kohli can now play absolutely freely in this particular tournament, knowing that whatever happens, whether he wins the trophy or whether India do not win the trophy, the captaincy, these are going to be his last few days and last few matches as the captain of India in T20.
Are we now at a stage where it is considered wisdom that split captaincy is indeed an optimal solution and the best way forward? Do you think that this will do Indian cricket good, given workload, IPL, T20, then the one-day series, then Test cricket? Or do you think it's still better, because we've had this big debate for a long time, now we seem to be taking a very clear decision towards split captaincy, Mr. Gavaskar?
Well, first and foremost, let's not talk workload when we talk about fitness of this team, because fitness and workload don't go together. If you're a fit team as you claim, then workload should never be a factor. That's the first thing. I think what will happen is that when you have split captaincy, it actually is a situation which will help the team. But it's most important that the captain should be a certainty in the team. If the captain is not a certainty, if he's not worth his place in the team, then there could be problems.
Okay, stay with me. We'll have a fun chat now. Rajdeep Sardesai joins us. Boria Majumdar joins us. Boria spends a lot of his time tracking cricket, as does Pradeep Magazine. Boria, is it fair to say that this is now the Jai Shah era in the BCCI? That it's the secretary who's calling the shots, that over the last several months, he said so in a public tweet as well, that he wanted this to happen and he's worked behind the scenes to try and bring it together. And in some senses, Virat Kohli has been nudged or edged out and kind of pushed in the direction of having to announce that he will step down at the end of the T20 World Cup, so that it seems like it's a decision which he himself has taken and not something that he's been forced to. Boria.
Overwhelming no. It can well be the Jai Shah era, but Jai Shah was on record 2 days back saying Virat Kohli remains the captain in all formats and we are backing him wholeheartedly. The answer, two counter questions. Why now? You want to give up the T20 captaincy, give up after the T20 World Cup. From what I know, and I'm putting this on record, Virat Kohli, there was a suggestion made to the selection committee that appoint 2 vice captains, younger players, as vice captains of the 50-over format. Let Rohit take over T20, Virat remains red ball and white ball. If what you are saying is right, Jai Shah or Sourav Ganguly, whoever it is, they turned it down. If Virat Kohli doesn't win this World T20, if my sources in the board are to be believed, and I've spoken to the top brass and the selection committee and the players, I don't see Virat Kohli continuing as the 50-over captain as well. So the writing is there. If Virat doesn't win this, he goes as white ball captain in entirety. So he will not play this World Cup with a free mind. And as Sunny said, T20 is the least in terms of workload or pressure. Then give up the 50 overs. No, you are talking about workload. This is the least workload. Keep this and then give up the 50 overs. He's not done that. I don't think it's his wish anymore. The guillotine is there. Win this World Cup. If you do not win this World Cup, Rohit will take over in entirety. So to your answer, it's a no as well, because they would have done that now. They are waiting for this World Cup. If he wins it, his wish is granted. If he doesn't win it, Rohit becomes white ball captain in entirety.
Is this in some senses like what's happening in Uttar Pradesh or what's happening in Gujarat with all the elections and the maneuverings, and this is in some senses the political dynamic of the dressing room playing itself out, Rajdeep?
In a sense, troublingly, I have to say yes.
Why?
Because I think the Indian Cricket Board at the end of the day is the most opaque organization, one of the most opaque organizations in this country. it never gives you any reasons for the decision making it takes.
But how can they give a clear decision?
No,
How will you take a decision in cricket like the kind that's been taken and satisfy everyone?
You can't
There will
satisfy
always be
everyone,
people
but
who
tell
will
us.
not be happy.
No. You see, what are you speculating about? You're speculating, was Virat Kohli ousted and told to go?
What's your answer to that?
I don't know. How do we're speculating?
He may not
right?
have been told to go, but he was nudged. He was given enough indications
So,
to suggest
look,
that this is the thinking in the BCCI at this moment.
Either way, come clean. My point is...
No, but you don't want to be disrespectful to a champion either.
You don't want to be disrespectful. You've now left him in a situation where he's out of T20, where his future as the ODI captain is under question mark. Will he remain Test captain? For now, yes, but who knows? In Indian cricket, stranger things have happened. Mr. Gavaskar is with us and he will tell you, Venkat Raghavan was dropped as India captain in 1979 and informed by the pilot as they were coming back from England, and Mr. Gavaskar was made captain for the first time. Then you had the musical...
The pilot told him that.
Mr. Gavaskar can correct me, but this is the story I was told.
Is this an urban legend or is this true, sir?
Yeah, no, this is true, because the selection committee meeting had taken place before the plane landed, just before the plane landed, and they'd taken the call, and so I think the control tower conveyed it to the pilot, the commander of the aircraft, and he announced it, which was quite embarrassing, to be honest. But the selection committee had met. It wasn't the. It was, let me clarify, it wasn't the commander of the Air India aircraft that took the call to change the captain.
But bizarre things have happened. In 1958-59, India had 4 captains in 5 tests against the West Indies. And in one particular match, I think because the captain who was nominated had to go back because he was injured, eventually you had 3 captains on one day. This is a team which in 1974-75, the day before the Delhi test, Mr. Farooq Engineers told, you're captaining. Next morning, he's not the captain. Mr. Venkat Raghavan is the captain. So there have been bizarre things that have happened in Indian cricket.
That sounds like Vijay Rupani and Bhupender Patil.
Look, there are bizarre things that have happened in Indian captaincy. By that token, this is a bit better. There's a system. But I still maintain, I am of the view actually that this is good. This is a good thing that's happening because I believe in split captaincy. It's a good way. There's too much
plus it's
pressure.
based on performance. Look at the fact that Rohit Sharma has been able to take Mumbai Indians to victory 5 times over. Kohli hasn't. That's a fact. And under both their captaincies, if you compare how the team has done in T20, the team has done better under Rohit's captaincy.
So may I ask you then a simple question, Rahul? You're absolutely right. Then why didn't they make Rohit Sharma the captain for the T20 World Cup? You're right that Rohit Sharma's track record in leading Mumbai Indians way superior to that of Virat Kohli for Royal Challengers Bangalore. If that is the case, if Rohit Sharma has been in such great
chief
form,
ministers and captains are both difficult.
Because you choose your time to do so.
Sure.
You don't do it in an objective manner based on merit and performance. In fact, I believe had that been done, this entire controversy would have blown over. Had you decided much earlier that Rohit Sharma is going to captain us in the T20 World Cup that's coming up because he is a better performer in T20. Virat Kohli remains our test captain. He's just won a series in England. I think that would have been a mature, better way of doing it. But we don't do it that way. Now we've suddenly got MS Dhoni also into this entire puzzle as mentor. You're going to have a coach and a mentor in the same dressing room. You're going to have a captain and a to-be captain in the same dressing room. That I don't like.
Is this Pradeep Magazine a big jalebi that's being cooked up before the T20 World Cup, which will be difficult to handle and manage?
Well, I don't know whether it'll be difficult to handle or not. And I have no problems with the captain saying that, okay, I have a lot of workload, I'm giving up and I'll do it later, not earlier. But the issue is what Rajdeep is saying and what Bore also has said. I agree with the fact that this sounds like an intrigue. You have newspapers speculating a week before this happened that, look, one paper says Virat is out and Rohit Sharma, because of his better record, is going to lead. Then another paper comes up with his front page story saying that no, Kohli is going to give up on his own. He thinks Rohit is a better captain. Why get into this intrigue? And secondly, what is the workload? T20, if Virat is worried about the pressure he has on him as a captain, then why not give up IPL captaincy? Because more matches are played there. India plays maybe 8 or 10 T20 games, and in which you are not a captain, but you're going to play. So when you talk about workload and pressure and managing, that sounds a bit, I'm not sure whether that's the true reason for quitting. And to do that before the World Cup, I agree fully with Rajdeep that be transparent. Okay, have a roadmap. Say that we are going to have split captaincy, and split captaincy means that it's not T20 alone. One-day cricket. Say that you have a cricket for white ball, you have a captain for white ball cricket, you have a captain for test matches. So this intrigue which surrounds Indian cricket is not healthy. It may be. It may not have transpired the way we are thinking, speculating, but this speculation is being done because the board is not transparent. You have board secretary and board treasurer, after those stories were published coming on record saying, no, hang on, we are not doing all this. Kohli is our captain. Captaincies will be decided on results. And then now today's story says that the board was already in touch with Kohli and they had a long discussion over a period of time in which finally, Kohli gave up captaincy for T20. So why have this intrigue surrounding this decision? That's a bit problematic.
I'm wondering at this moment, Nikhil Chopra, whether there's greater intrigue in the fact that all the ministers have been changed in Gujarat and there's a whole new crop of ministers sworn in, or there's greater intrigue in the Indian dressing room, given the fact that the captaincy has been changed in the way that it has. On a serious note, do you think that this decision to split captaincy and have Rohit Sharma captain the T20 team will be good for Indian cricket in the future? Nikhil?
To be honest, Rahul, if you look at how things have panned, and I look at it from a positive point of view as well, that Virat Kohli coming out announcing, saying that, no matter what the result of the outcome of the World Cup is, whether he gets his hands on the silverware or not, he's going to step down as captain. And of course, Rohit winning the 5 IPL trophies to his name as well will make all the difference. When's the next T20 World Cup? Within a year. You need to allow another captain, whoever comes in, enough time to try and build the team however he wants it. Because Virat Kohli has led as captain test matches, one days, T20s, and he's been given that sort of long rope to go and build a side however he wants. And maybe Virat and Rohit both might have spoken about saying, he's obviously under pressure that he hasn't won anything with the ICC and is probably bogging him down as well. And for the betterment of Indian cricket, he's probably thought, this is the best time. I need to make that decision and let Rohit be given that, sort of a chance to build his team however he likes it. And Mumbai Indians, they've got a fantastic setup. They've got the team building the exercise the whole year round as well. And like Pradeep sir said, why not give up captaincy for IPL? There's a difference between getting your hands in the silverware for an IPL trophy in comparison to a T20 World Cup. Every captain who's left for his team, for his country, has always dreamt of getting his hands on the silverware. Winning the World Cup for your country is far larger than any IPL trophy.
Okay, so Boria, 2 questions. What's your sense of the kind of relationship, not working relationship, but personal relationship that Rohit and Virat Kohli share? There's so much spoken about it. On a professional basis, I suppose they get along, but personally, all these stories of acrimony, bitterness, competition, how true are they?
You said 2. You asked me 1.
I'm coming to the second question after this.
Okay, the answer is they are not the best friends, but you don't need to be the best friends. If you think they'll go socially out for dinner, etc., no. All you need to do is when the last catch goes up, if Virat and Rohit both wish that catch be taken for India. So give you a very blunt answer, professionally, they are good buddies on the field because they are doing it for India. Personally, they need not be, and that has always been the story. If Mr. Gavaskar's time, now, always if 2 egos, 2 superhuman achievers are there in the team, they need not be best friends, and that is the case. But for India, as long as they work together, I'm good with it.
Okay, why? You've spoken to Kohli so often. What's his sense of why he hasn't been able to take his teams to glory in the T20 championship format? Given the fact that in the test format, Kohli, not just passionate on the ground as player and captain, but also took India to victory abroad. Why does he think he's not been able to do the same in T20?
Rahul, that's a dangerous one. But if you really go by fact, facts. If you really go by facts, in the test match format also in Australia, it's Ajinkya Rahane who won India that series. Okay? In the World Test Championship final, we unfortunately lost. In the 50-over format, we lost in the semi-finals of the 2019 World Cup. Virat's led the team well, but on crucial days, you've not been able to cross the line. That is a fact. Now, why he's not been able to win? I would have understood that he's won IPL and not done ICC trophies, or he's won ICC trophies and not won IPLs. The fact is, this is actually going against him. I think he's a good leader. This England series, he led the team well, but the fact is, in Australia, it was Ajinkya Rahane who led the team after he came back. The fact is, in the World Test Championship final, we lost. The fact is, in the World Cup of 2019, we lost. And that, I think, is the only reason that he's not stepped down now. He wants to give himself one more opportunity, this World T20, to redeem himself as captain and win that trophy for India. But what he's also done is opened a Pandora's box. If he doesn't win, and from what I know, if he doesn't win by even one run, will the BCCI keep him captain like he wants in the 50-over format? Chances are no.
Mr. Gavaskar, how does this play on a player's psyche? Suddenly, in the media, in the chattering classes, so much talk about this supposed competition between Kohli and Rohit Sharma, and to some extent it's only natural. They could share a reasonably healthy working relationship. As Boria says, they don't need to be best friends, but it is in some senses two super achievers in the same room. How does this play itself out, and does all the chattering around it make things potentially worse?
Well, I think Kohli has gone on record that he's not bothered with what you referred to. He refers to it as outside noise, so he's not bothered. So that possibly answers your question. That whatever is going on outside the team, they are in a bubble of their own, and not necessarily the COVID bubble. They have a bubble of their own, where they don't really pay attention to what is being talked or discussed outside the team environments.
Do you buy that, Rajdeep? Is that possible? I mean, I'd love to believe what Mr. Gavaskar is saying. There's a bubble. They don't read. I know. You're saying you're quoting back Kohli, and that's what you're referring to. I'm saying everybody is human at the end of the day. This is like Prime Minister Modi telling his principal secretary on the day that the BJP lost in Bihar in 2015, where everybody was looking for a reaction from the Prime Minister, and he made it seem to his team at that time that it didn't matter, that he's above victory and defeat. I suspect that you can't be so above victory and defeat, or can you?
Let me be fair here to Mr. Gavaskar and Kohli Sharma by telling you a story. I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and especially in the 80s, when captaincy was revolving around Sunil Gavaskar and Kapil Dev. We were told that Sunil Gavaskar and Kapil Dev were at loggerheads with each other. That there was this battle between Gavaskar and Kapil Dev. They didn't get along with each other, and there was this constant power tussle. Over the years, getting to know both of them much better, I've realized that they have so much of mutual respect for each other and such deep, warm friendship that I actually believe that we were living in a bubble. We were living in this outside the dressing room world where we were creating this great fight between these two superstar cricketers of a generation. And I think the same could well apply to many such battles. I think there's so much of mutual respect between cricketers when they've achieved so much that there may be the odd pinprick. Mr. Gavaskar will have to tell us, why was Kapil Dev dropped in that 84 match for playing the shot that he did. Maybe it was not his fault. The selectors chose to do it. But I just think that,
yes, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. The selectors chose to do it.
Yeah,
The captain was co-opted to that selection meeting. So in a way, collective responsibility, I am responsible. But not for a moment. Do you know me now, Rajdeep? Do you think I am stupid to propose or ask for the dropping of my only match winner in the team?
No, absolutely.
But that's it. So as a part of the collective responsibility, yes.
But that's exactly what I'm saying. At that time, when Kapil Dev was dropped, everybody blamed you. Everybody thought Sunil Gavaskar was conspiring against Kapil Dev. The truth is very different. And both, if you ask Kapil Dev, he will tell you that, as Mr. Gavaskar is. And I think we've got to recognize that. I think when players play at the highest level, there's a lot of mutual respect for each other. As I said, there may be the odd dressing room squabble, but there happened to us. 1974, when Ajit Wadekar lost 3-0, there was open war, from what I gather, in the dressing room. Now that's That's happened in the past as well. But by and large, huge amount of mutual respect that players have at the top. So I don't see that to be the problem. Will you have dual centers of power and all? I don't see that to be the problem. I see the problem, the manner in which all of this is done. Completely opaque, completely non-transparent, and ends up creating more problems than it resolves. Rohit Sharma should have been T20 World Cup captain, in my view, appointed much earlier, rather than creating a situation where on the eve of the tournament, Sunday you've got Virat Kohli saying, I'm through with T20.
Deepdas Gupta, your sense on whether this makes things tricky in the dressing room during the big T20 championship? We'd love to win another T20 championship. You've got Dhoni as mentor, you have a coach, you have a captain to be, you have the current captain. Is that too many cooks in the same broth, or does it not really matter?
I think I'm kind of relieved, because there's been so much of speculation what's going to happen, whether Virat will retain his captaincy, if he wins it, if he doesn't win it. I think it's only going to help this decision from Virat. At least everyone knows that after the World Cup is over, he's no more the T20 captain. So I don't think too many cooks and all that, because we all know MSD, the kind of guy he is and how he likes to run the show, or whether, I mean, he's somebody who wants to sit at the back and kind of let others do the job. Virat is a different kind of a character. The way he approaches is totally different. So in a way, I'm kind of relieved as a cricket fan that all this is going to stop now. All the speculation about who's going to lead, who's not going to lead, whether Virat's going to continue and all that. So I think that's the last thing as a player, as a team you want, is before going into a World Cup, all these noises. And personally, I think as much as Virat would like to say that outside noises he doesn't listen to, but I think it was affecting his batting as well. In England, personally, I believe, I mean, he hasn't scored as many as he would have liked to, or we would have liked him to a certain extent. In my assessment, was all that was happening around it. But what might lead to confusion is split captaincy of a different type. I think we all saw most of the teams have split captaincy, but it is white ball cricket and red ball cricket. I think that's the way to go about things. I think that might create a little bit of confusion, because there are a lot of similar players playing T20 and 50 overs. So you don't want that kind of a confusion in the team. I think sooner or later, the authorities and the decision makers have to take a call. If there has to be a split captaincy, it has to be white ball and red ball and not T20.
Okay.
And
Mr. Gavaskar, one more trick question coming your way. If you had to choose at this moment between Messrs. Kohli and Sharma, who would you have as India's one-day captain for the 50-over format? Deepdas Gupta makes an interesting argument that if you have to split test on the one side, white ball cricket on the other, is that the way you would like to do it as well?
Well, firstly, it's a selection committee job. They get paid very well for that. And if I'm going to give my opinion, I'm going to give an opinion which they might listen, or they might be hearing. I'm not saying they have to listen to it. Unless, the selection committee says, okay, we'll give you a cut out of that, it's not really fair to ask me that. But okay, I'll answer that. I think Deepdas Gupta makes the absolute correct point, that we cannot have a split captain where you have for white ball, that for 50 overs you have one captain, and for 20 overs you have another captain. So because the one-day tournament is going to start after the World T20 is done, I think whoever is the captain of the T20 should be appointed the captain of the 50 overs as well. Because then that way you have a red ball captain, that you have a white ball captain.
Pradeep Magazine, would you agree with that assessment, that this would be the more logical way to go? So Kohli in his statement says that he'd like to continue as the one-day captain even after the T20 World Cup. Both Sunil Gavaskar and Deepdas Gupta make the argument that is highly unlikely the way that it will be.
Absolutely. In fact, when I earlier in the earlier segment, I said that when you are saying that you're pressure as a captain and you want to give up one format as a captain, then that format you give up, it has to be a white ball cricket captain and a red ball. There are 2-3 issues involved here. Look, most of the teams which have split captaincy, I don't think that they play across all three formats. Like you have a test, Joe Root, who's not playing in the shorter format. He's the captain of the England team. So in an Indian context, to have a split captaincy where one captain is leading one format, another captain another format, but they are both playing in both formats. Why Indian in any atmosphere? There could be a slight problem in terms of you have two different leaders, but I'm not saying that should be taken too seriously, or it could be an issue. But why did Kohli say that he will lead? He has a pressure as a captain. He's going to play T20. It's not he's going to not play T20. His workload is going to be the same. So, and then at the same time, he says he will lead in one days. I have a feeling that it's the way I'm looking at it. Is it like you're preempting your removal? If you have this information that you might be removed as a white ball captain, you make this announcement, and you make it clear also in this announcement that you don't want to give up, you're not giving up one-day captaincy. And as speculation is that Rohit could be made captain for one day if Virat does not lead India to T20, this thing is not a healthy way to go about it.
Okay, so I have the same question I want to put to Deep Das Gupta about the sense that I'm picking up, and I know politics much more than I know cricket, but the sense that I'm picking up is that this is now the Jai Shah era in the administration of Indian cricket. That yes, there are others, but the man calling the shots at this moment is the BCCI secretary. Is that a sense that you would agree with, Deep Das Gupta, that this really is his vision, his plan in terms of where he hopes to take cricket, and he's kind of moving the boards, moving the pieces on the chessboard to try and head in that direction?
Well, I don't know whether I'm the right person because I don't know much about the BCCI in terms of the administration, but obviously, I mean, for the last year or so, there hasn't been much international cricket or much domestic cricket. And it's about time that, BCCI has already started coming out with the domestic circuit, the domestic dates and all that. And it's only fair. I think they need to get the whole process going. And I mean, it's fair to say it's their time now, whether it's Sourav Ganguly, Jai Shah, all of them together. And this is a very important phase because we are transiting into a post-pandemic kind of a world, where you're playing an ICC tournament, at least one ICC tournament every year, if not two. So I think the board needs to get a little more proactive, which they are doing right now, and they need to, because as I mentioned, I mean, next 6-7 years, it's a very, very busy calendar for Indian cricket, whether it's men's or women's.
Mr. Gavaskar, one of the points that Boria put out in that story based on his conversation with BCCI sources was about Kohli suggesting that there be two vice captains who are younger, because both he and Rohit Sharma are roughly the same age. I don't want to get into the veracity of whether those sources are correct or not, but if you were looking at the future potential captains for India beyond Kohli and Rohit, in the way that the players stack up at this moment, given their ability to hold their position and potentially make a bid for captaincy, who would be the players you think at this moment have shown greatest potential?
KL Rahul.
Okay.
I mean, I don't even think, didn't even have to think for a second, particularly after his performances in England, KL Rahul, because KL Rahul's performance as the captain in the IPL has been outstanding. The captaincy has not affected his batting at all. He's been hammering the ball in the IPL, and because of his success now in the Test format, that's going to give him that much more confidence when he leads the team, when he leads the Punjab team in the IPL this time around. So KL Rahul straight away comes to mind as the vice captain.
No, so is that the natural successor, or would you have like a group of 2 or 3 players that you'd look out for, saying inme se ek, or do you think KL Rahul has kind of established himself as the next most likely Indian captain?
I think he's established himself in my book as the most likely Indian captain in all 3 formats of the game, because it might be a couple of years, maybe 3 years, but in all 3 formats of the game. So I think he has to be groomed for the captaincy by making him the vice captain, making him aware that he's the next in line. Because when that happens, you tend to think about tactics, you tend to think about preparation for the entire team and not just for yourself. And that helps you when you eventually get the big job.
Boria, what's the thinking in the BCCI? Have they thought through who the next captains could potentially be, or are they more focused on this transition from Kohli to Rohit Sharma and getting that done first?
Yeah, see, basically exactly what I was talking about. Deep mentioned, Mr. Gavaskar mentioned, Pradeep mentioned. The reason that this 2 vice captain theory was shot down by the board is they are waiting for this World Cup to appoint Rohit Sharma perhaps as a white ball captain in entirety. That's why it was shot down. And you asked about the sources, 200% correct sources. From what I know, they are saying this is too early. They are saying this is too early at this point in time. They are saying on record that they were communicated at 5:30 this evening. But I have to say this, on the 14th of September, a comment was made that we will back the captain as long as he performs in all three formats. On the 16th of September, a comment is made that leadership discussions have been going on for the last 6 months. So that's BCCI. Having said that, I do think that Virat Kohli's suggestion that I want to be captain of 50 overs and red ball cricket is not yet agreed or accepted, and the entire thing depends on this World Cup. He doesn't win, he goes. He wins, his wish is granted.
Nikhil Chopra, Mr. Gavaskar pitching very strongly for KL Rahul as potential captain in the post-Sharma, post-Kohli era. Would Rahul be your pick as well? Who would you have in your radar?
Without a doubt, Sir's hit the nail on the head how this young man has gone about his job in all three formats or the side. And you just look at him go about his business even in the IPL when he's leading the Punjab side as well. And how do you look at, glimpses of leadership qualities when a particular bowler is getting hit as a young bowler, small little things that you catch the eye of. You want to look at the captain, and the captain doesn't try and get a frown. Rahul is somebody who's looking to try and get that bowler with some sort of comfort. Never mind, this is part of the game. Well, let's stick to a game plan, because that's when a player needs his captain the most. When the chips are down, as a batsman, you're not getting amongst runs. What I hear from the Punjab camp is, he's always got a lot of time for some kid who's not doing too well, or a bowler in the field at that moment in time. So those are, small little leadership qualities that I possibly look at. That's how you build a team. And you must look to have management skills as well. I possibly feel KL Rahul, the way, if he continues to keep on performing in all three formats of the game and his bat keeps on, does all the talking, I would possibly see him lead the side. Make no mistake about it. Sir is absolutely right.
My original plan before Virat Kohli bowled the googly was to discuss the machinations in Gujarat politics, where there's a whole new captain with an entire new lineup. We did discuss a new team and potentially a new captain, but that wasn't in politics, rather that was in cricket, and this was a lot more interesting than anything we could have done in the Gujarat cabinet reshuffle. So I'm very glad that we did this. Fantastic having Mr. Gavaskar with us, as also Deepdas Gupta, Nikhil Chopra, Pradeep Magazine. And it's been a long while since we've had any cricket on the news track, but we're heading into IPL season, we're heading into the T20 World Championship. And as Rajdeep said about Gavaskar and Kapil Dev, maybe this is just all out for people to talk about, and it doesn't matter as much to the players, the legends, the people who are out in the field who only want to perform for their country, and that really is what matters most. Mr. Gavaskar, you want to make a quick final comment?
You in the media make it up. You in the media.
So मैं तो इतने दिनों के बाद क्रिकेट किया, अब तक तो बोरिया ही कर रहा था. So far it was all boria and Vikrant. I just jumped into the story right now. We weren't even on the story so far. But
anyway, good. No, it was a great discussion. Thank you.
But I think that Boria made an important point. When the ball's up in the air and when it's coming into somebody's hand, as long as both champions want as much for that catch to be taken and for India to win, that's all that matters. That is what matters most. Thank you so much for joining us on the news track and for lighting up the show with your insights. We'll slip into a quick break. I'll have more for you on the other side. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. A lot more on the other side of a quick break. Stay with us.